different prices, and both give different pictures of economic growth. The main difference arises due to the effect of inflation or change in price level over the years. 1. National income at current prices. National income at current prices refers to the value of goods and services at the prices prevailing during the year of production. It includes the effect of inflation or deflation on price levels. If prices are high in a particular year, the national income at current prices also appears high even if real production has not increased. Formula. National income at current prices is equal to quantity of output / times current year prices. Features. Includes inflation and price fluctuations. Shows the money value of production in the present year. Useful for short-term comparisons. Limitation. It cannot measure real growth because an increase in national income may be due to increase in prices, not higher production. 2. National income at constant prices. National income at constant prices refers to the value of goods and services calculated at base year prices. In this method, a base year is selected, and prices of all goods are valued at that base year price to eliminate the effect of inflation. Formula. National income at constant prices is equal to quantity of output / base year prices. Features. Eliminates impact of price changes. Shows real growth in production. Useful for long-term economic analysis and policy planning. Advantage. It helps to compare growth rate of national income over different years accurately. Key differences between constant and current prices. Basis. Current prices. Constant prices. Price used. Current year prices. Base year prices. Effect of inflation. Included. Removed. Indicates. Nominal growth. Real growth. Best used for short-term evaluation. Long-term comparison. Conclusion. National income at current prices reflects monetary or nominal value, while national income at constant prices measures real production growth. Both measures are complementary, but for economic planning, comparison across years, and measuring real development, constant price national income is more accurate and reliable. 10 mark. Sectorial contribution to national income, 10 marks. National income of a country is generated from three major sectors of the economy: the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. The percentage share of output from each sector in total national income is called sectorial contribution. It helps to understand the structure and level of development of an economy. 1. Primary sector, agriculture and allied activities. This sector consists of agriculture, fishing, forestry, mining and animal husbandry. In less developed and developing countries, this sector contributes a large share of national income and employment because agriculture is the main occupation. Features of primary sector contribution. High share in early stages of development. Provides raw materials to industries. Contribution decreases gradually with industrialization. Dominant in developing nations like India in earlier decades. Economic insight. A shift from primary to other sectors is considered a sign of economic progress. 2. Secondary sector, industrial and manufacturing sector. The secondary sector covers manufacturing, construction, electricity, water supply and gas. As a country develops, the secondary sector becomes an important contributor to national income due to industrialization and technological advancement. Features of secondary sector contribution. Contribution increases during transition to development. Generates employment in factories and manufacturing units. Utilizes raw materials from primary sector. Leads to capital formation and modern techniques. Economic insight. Growth of this sector shows rising productivity and industrial expansion. 3. Tertiary sector, service sector. This sector includes banking, transport, communication, trade, tourism, education, health, IT and government services. In developed economies, the tertiary sector contributes the largest share to national income due to high demand for services and advanced technology. Features of tertiary sector contribution. Contribution rises as income level and urbanization increase. Provides services that support both primary and secondary sectors. Major source of employment in modern economies. Indicates economic sophistication and high standard of living. Economic insight. Higher service sector share reflects a shift towards knowledge-based economy. Sectoral contribution and development patterns. Stage of economy. Dominant sector. Underdeveloped. Primary sector. Developing. Secondary sector rises, primary declines. Developed. Tertiary sector dominates. As economies grow, the contribution shifts from agriculture industry services. Conclusion. Sectorial contribution to national income reflects the structure, growth and development stage of an economy. Developing economies like India are moving from agriculture-based to service-dominated structure, showing modernization and economic progress. Understanding sectoral contribution is essential for policy making, employment planning and sustainable development. 2. National income and economic welfare. 10 marks. National income measures the total value of goods and services produced or the total income earned by the residents of a country during a year. While it indicates economic growth, it does not automatically reflect the economic welfare or well-being of the people. Economic welfare depends on how income is distributed, availability of basic needs, and quality of life. One link between national income and welfare. Higher national income can improve living standards if it is fairly distributed. It can finance better education, health, housing, and social services, enhancing human welfare. Increased income allows individuals to consume more goods and services, increasing satisfaction and comfort. 2. Limitations of national income in measuring welfare. Income distribution ignored. High national income does not guarantee that all people benefit. Inequality reduces welfare. Non-monetary aspects excluded. National income ignores leisure, environmental quality, happiness, health, and social well-being. Underground and informal economy. Income from black markets or informal sectors is not included, underestimating real welfare. Negative externalities. Ignored. Pollution, depletion of resources, and other negative effects reduce welfare but are not reflected in national income. Changes in price levels. Inflation may increase national income at current prices but reduce real purchasing power, affecting welfare. 3 ways national income can reflect welfare. Per capita income gives a better idea of average income per person and potential living standards. Adjusted national income deducts depreciation and includes net foreign income to better measure real welfare. Complementary indicators, literacy, life expectancy, health, employment, and HDI, Human Development Index, can be used along with national income to assess welfare. 4. Role in policy making. Governments use national income data to plan economic and social policies, such as poverty alleviation, employment generation, health and education programs, balanced regional development. Higher national income with equitable distribution improves social and economic welfare. Conclusion. National income is a measure of economic growth, but economic welfare depends on fair distribution, quality of life, and social well-being. While national income provides a useful quantitative measure, it must be supplemented by other indicators like HDI, per capita income, and social development indices to understand true economic welfare.